If your brain turns into a racetrack the minute your head hits the pillow, you are not alone. Ugh, the nighttime can turn into the hardest and the loudest part of our day if you're someone with anxiety. Now, in this video, I am going to show you exactly how you can create a gentle, science-based sleep routine to calm your nervous system, to soften those intrusive thoughts and manage them, and to ease your way into a more restful night. Now, this is an exact plan that you can adapt for your own likings. So let's get to it. We want to first understand the problem though. Most of the time, for those of us who are having a difficult time sleeping, there are many things that are getting in the way. Number one is you're probably avoiding and not really taking a lot of care at looking at the schedule and what needs to happen. Number two, it might be that you're procrastinating. I know a lot of you dread going to bed, dread how much your brain gets loud, and so you put it off in fear of what you're going to have to endure. Others are staying up, doing some kind of entertainment, watching TV, playing games. Again, no judgment here, but it's interfering with a really solid rest routine. Maybe you're stuck on your phone, doom scrolling. I fall into this trap all the time. Or maybe you're someone who falls asleep at the TV and then you wake up in the middle of the night and all of your sleep routine is out the door. So let's talk about the solution. I'm going to give you a step-by-step schedule. This is something that you can adjust to your liking. So let's get started. First of all, we are going to need to do some calculation. This is not hard math. This is actually really simple, but we need to do this first for this video and for this schedule to work well. Number one, we want to identify what time do you want to wake up? It doesn't matter what time, there's no right time. We can adjust this schedule depending on what works for you. But for the sake of this, let's just say you need to be up by 8 a.m. The next question is, how many hours of sleep do you need? Now, for the sake of this, let's say you're someone who needs a solid 8 hours, preferably 8 hours is ideal, especially if you're someone who has anxiety and depression. So in that case, bedtime will need to be 12 p.m. and you will put this schedule ahead and plan for it so that you know that you will be in bed and preferably asleep by 12 p.m. Now, it doesn't matter if you're not. We're not going to worry about that yet, but we will talk about it as we go. But let's say you need to be up by 6 a.m. You would then do the calculations, make sure you're in bed by 10. Does that make sense? Let's say if you don't need to be up until 9 a.m., you would then push it back an hour. Now, let's do this from moving forward. So if you've identified your bedtime, 90 minutes before bed, this is your wind down buffer. This is when you start to wind down. If you need to be in bed by 10 o'clock, do not start this process at 9:45. We want to start 90 minutes ahead and we want to start this buffer happening. We want to turn off all your work, close your laptop. We want to put social media away, and we don't want to be having any type of intense conversations. This is important too, this is where we dim the lighting, we dim the stimulation, and we create a calm environment. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, this is the only time I have for myself. I've been with the kids or been at school. I get it. But it means that you're going to have to be more intentional about your rest time and make sure that you have really prioritized slowing down. Now, an option here would be you could play some soft music, you could light a candle, you could start putting on some tea. We'll talk about that here very soon, but we're sort of easing into what sounds good to you. For me, it's taking a warm bath in the dark. I love it in the dark, okay? Now, why is this important? Because this is a cue to your nervous system and to your brain that we are going away from doing into resting. This is the beginning of your brain starting to understand it's not go, go, go. We're getting to bed. Now, what if your anxiety is high? I wanted to talk about this. You'll apply these skills every single step, but let's talk about it now. Number one, name it kindly. You might say, this is just anxiety. It's not danger. And you want to label it instead of going, oh no, my anxiety's here and everything's bad. We're just going to say, I'm experiencing anxiety. It's here. It can come along for the ride. Number two is visualize space for these thoughts. You want to picture them like a leaf floating down a stream or as a cloud in the sky. Don't treat them like they're important. You're just observing them instead of reacting to them. Now, the next step is offer some supportive self-talk. You might say, I can feel anxious and still rest. You don't have to feel calm to be okay. Again, when we're doing this routine, we're not forcing calm because that's going to only make it worse. In fact, a lot of folks of you who are listening to this are probably somewhat in this predicament because of how much pressure we've put on ourselves to fall asleep. The last step here is have a gentle plan B. If when your head hits that pillow and you really can't get to sleep, it's okay to get up, move away. We don't want you to associate your bed with something that is stressful, right? We only really want to associate the bed with lovemaking and sleep. We don't want it to have a stressful relationship with it. And so you can leave, go and sit in a chair, read a little, do something quietly, and dim lights again, and then return back when you feel like you're a little calmer. But again, there's no shame here. We're just here to care for you. But the main important thing is do not get in a wrestle with your anxiety. We just want to invite it along and observe it and bring our attention back to the plan. All right. Now, if you want to, and when you're ready, we have an entire course that will teach you how to reduce overthinking, reduce catastrophization, and reduce rumination. It's called the Rumination Reset, and it is me teaching you one specific skill. If you're someone who really struggles with rumination and getting caught up in those loops and spirals and circles and that mouse wheel, that trap that keeps you looped, the Rumination Reset is going to be such an important resource for you. Head over to CBT School or click the link in the description below, and I cannot recommend that enough. It is a very short course that will help you get those specific tools and again has helped so many people. Okay, let's talk about 60 minutes before bed. This is where we want to move into cozy rituals. You can sip on warm, non-caffeinated drink. This might be water with lemon. It might be a tea. It might be hot milk or hot chocolate. We don't want to overdo the sugar here. We just want it to be something that's soothing. For me, I love a good apricot tea or peach tea, something that doesn't have caffeine and I can just sip on it. But I do need to have it 90 minutes before bed. Otherwise, I'm up peeing all night, which is not what we want, okay? So do get that going if that's something important to you. This is where you can also do your skincare or your hygiene slowly and mindfully. Again, I talked about having a bath. If you're someone who doesn't like to have a bath, you might wash your face gently. Use something delicious that smells good and maybe some lavender, something that slows you down and makes you feel so stinking special. That's what I want for you. This must be a warm blanket activity. I want it to feel wonderful to you. I want you to brush your teeth and take note of how you're taking care of those beautiful teeth of yours. I want you to take your makeup off or brush your hair or put lotion on your hands. Take such special care of you and really bring your attention to scents that you like, lotions that you like, things that make you feel delicious. Now you can also change into soft pajamas. This is where we have a hard power down of screens. Screens need to be off 60 minutes before bed. There is research of this. The light that is in your regular iPhone or Android phone is going to tell your brain to stay awake, and we want to start to message that brain to start to send out those sleepy hormones. Okay, so why is this step so important? Kindness, compassion. It slows our nervous system down. When we are kind to ourselves, it sends off an alert to your brain to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system. This slows us down. If you're criticizing and wrestling and trying to make your anxiety go away, that actually speeds your nervous system up. It creates more energy in your body. So we want to really, really prioritize kind, warm, gentle activities. Now we move on to 30 minutes before bed. This is where we move and we soothe. This is where you might want to do some gentle stretching. I actually have a stretching belt right next to my bed where I stretch out my hamstrings, but I'm doing it slowly and gently. I might slowly walk around, stretch my arms, swing them a little. You're doing this not to exercise. We're not burning calories. You're just getting into your body and you're sort of allowing yourself to let that energy move through you. You might also want to do some kind of calming breath work or breathing. You could either just do easy breaths, which is my preference, just easy in through the nose, out through the mouth, not hard, not deep, just easy breaths. Others really prefer like an inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. If you're really anxious, you can trial that and repeat. Again, we're not here to make thoughts go away. We're not here to make the anxiety all go away. We're here just to create a gentle, beautiful, soft place for us to move into the season of rest. Now, why is this so important? Movement discharges negative energy or anxious energy. Breath supports our parasympathetic nervous system once again, so you can practice a meditation. We actually have a meditation vault if that's something you're interested in, where you can listen to a guided meditation on something you're struggling with. Health anxiety, OCD, intrusive thoughts, depression, worries about tomorrow, whatever it might be. Or you can go on to any kind of YouTube or something like that and get something that's available to you right away. Now we move into 15 minutes before bed. This is where you rest. We do not perform. You might do another body scan, more of that guided meditation. You might place your hands on your heart or your belly. You might start to really work on reminding yourself, and this is key, is this is just about rest. If sleep doesn't come right away, that's fine. Really, the only objective of the nighttime is to rest. If you're not sleeping, I will say to myself, not a problem, Kimberly. As long as you're resting, that's all that matters. Okay? The sleep, it'll come tomorrow if it needs to. But for right now, I'm just going to stay here. And the other thing to remind yourself is even no matter how tired you are tomorrow, if you treat yourself kindly, you will still succeed. You'll still get done what you need to get done. Now, why is this stage so important? This removes all the pressure and shifts the focus away from this pressure on sleeping to simply just resting. Okay? Now, here are some things I want you to remember. Do not beat yourself up. Ask your body if it needs anything. Maybe for you it's different. Maybe it's a sound machine. Maybe it's any kind of it depends. It really, really, maybe it's, for me, again, it's reading. If I'm reading on my Kindle, the Kindle is fine because it's not backlit, it's forward lit. So it's not going to be shining that light right into your eye. That Kindle just hums me into a sleep. Some people like to listen to sort of boring audiobooks. If that works for you, by all means. But again, remember, even if you don't sleep well tonight, you've taken a huge step by just simply learning how to support yourself and being gentle. Be gentle, be patient, allow this to be messy because life is messy. So there you have it. That is your routine. Thank you so much for being here. Now you can head over to CBT School for any of our resources, or right now I'm actually going to link you to another video that I want you to watch. It's called The Hidden Habits of Overthinkers and What to Do Instead. If you're someone who overthinks at the end of the evening, this episode and this video is going to be exactly what you need. All right, I'll see you in the next video.